He's an award-winning director and producer whose latest documentary is called Iraq for Sale, The War Profiteers. Robert Greenwald. Robert. How you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Oh, my God, you've left your glasses on your head.
I know. It's my good luck sign.
Oh. That's odd. Okay.
I see better that way.
You've made a great movie. I'm going to let it go.
Thank you.
Because I did see your movie, and I tell you, it made me very angry. I think if any American saw it, of any party, it would make them very angry, because it's about war profiteering. And I'm not going to lie. I wanted you on this show on the Friday before the election, because I think this issue has gone under the radar in America. I don't think Americans realize that. I think they realize there's a lot of loss of life in Iraq. I don't think they realize quite how much money has been lost and wasted. So why don't you tell us, briefly if you can, the worst of it?
Well, the worst of it is that what we've been doing is we've been taking large parts of our military operation, and this administration has been turning them over to for-profit corporations whose only goal is making more and more money, and they're going over there, they're making our troops less safe, they're hurting the Iraqi people, and as a result, all of us are in greater danger. So it's not just the money bill, which amounts to billions of our tax dollars that are going to pay Halliburton, so they turn around and they charge the troops $45 for a six-pack of Coke, $100 to
$45 for a six-pack of Coke? Oh, my God. That's what a Starbucks cost here. That's wrong. How is it hurting the troops, though? Tell us that part of it.
Well, remember, there's a certain amount of money. To the degree that the money is being taken by these war profiteers and put into the pockets of Halliburton and Cocky and KBR, that money is not available to the troops, and it's not available for what it was meant to do, which was to rebuild hospitals and cure the water and provide food for the Iraqi people. So that makes all of us in a much more dangerous situation.
So when people hear the term military contractors, and we hear that on the news every night, what do they do? I know I've seen what they do. They do things like cooking, cleaning uniforms, cleaning latrines. I thought this was something the military always did for themselves. Why are they now outsourcing this?
Well, they're outsourcing much more than that also. They're outsourcing the training of the Iraqi army, the training of the Iraqi police force, the training of our army, and actually literally men with guns are over there for working for private corporations. Now, the reason it's happening is we have an administration that's ideologically committed to privatizing or profitizing everything, including the military, including interrogators at Abu Ghraib, and including translators. So it's no longer limited to where it started, which was latrines and food. It's spread in its extraordinary way, and there is no oversight. So in addition to everything else, Bill, your tax dollars, again, are going to these corporations who are getting cost-plus contracts. And what that means is, listen to this, the more money they spend, the more profit they get. How would you like that for your show, by the way?
I would. But I'm not fighting a war. But let's go back to the cooking and the cleaning and the latrines. Why can't our troops do that for themselves?
Well, they can do it for themselves, but this again, you have an administration that believes everything should be turned over to private industry. The problem with private industry is they have a single goal, which is make the most money possible.
So our troops are working side by side with people who are making 5 times as much as they are.
Yeah,
what does that do for morale?
Can you imagine? I mean, we have story after story in the film, and it will really break your heart, of these good, patriotic, solid American citizens saying, I'm over here doing my job in Iraq. Next to me, somebody is getting 5 times what I am getting to do the exact same thing. And again, our tax dollars are going, and it's going right into the pockets of these corporations.
And I know that companies like Halliburton, which I guess is part of KBR, when you hear Dick Cheney talk about it, he says, yeah, they were no-bid contracts. That's because they're the only company who does this kind of work.
Well,
I don't mean to sound skeptical about that or set you up in any way, but is that true? Are they the only company that does that kind of work?
No, it's absolutely not true. It's obscene, it's unconscionable, and it's unpatriotic to have that going on where they decide at the highest levels who are going to get the contracts. We have a woman in the film, Bettina Greenhouse. She talks about the fact 25 years working in providing who decides to get contracts and the pressure that was put on her to give these contracts to Halliburton. And it's a really key element for us to think about that at the same time this horrific war is going on, the head of Halliburton made $100 million in his stock since the war began. The head of Cocky, who provided, get this, private for-profit interrogators at Abu Ghraib, J.P. London, he's made $20 million in the last year. That's obscene while our troops are over there sleeping on the ground.
That is amazing to me, what I saw in your film about, it's one thing to have these guys doing latrine work, cooking and cleaning, but they were the interrogators at Abu Ghraib. And, of course, because they're not officially military, there's no oversight. They're completely on their own over there. They can shoot somebody, right, and nothing happens to them?
Yeah, there is literally, there's literally no law governing them. The military is governed by the Military Code of Justice. The private contractors have no laws covering them. And as a result, you have, again, this goes back to the safety of our troops bill, you have thousands of men running around with guns, no laws, and the Iraqi people are not differentiating, oh, he's with the army and he has a law, and he's a private citizen who's shooting my father, my uncle, or my child.
Okay. Thank you very much for joining us, Robert. I appreciate you making this movie and letting the people know what's going on. Robert Greenwald, everybody. All right, let's meet tonight.